Hello and welcome to Croatia, to Zagreb Fair on a fine Saturday evening. Michael Chen.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yep. It's not bad.
That's all I have to say.
Look, it's logistically...
It's a hell of a location.
It's useful to get to. We've got a main road that side and a main road that side. What more could you want?
What more could you want?
But if you can see, there's some nice mountains. Bit of a Zagreb-y thing.
Point being, the service park is just over there. There's a rally happening over there.
It's very close. We can run to the service park.
Absolutely.
Anyway, enough of that. What a fantastic day.
It's been a great day, hasn't it? Croatia just keeps delivering, and we always said it was going to be the unique roads that were going to give us a rally this weekend, and they really have done. And this morning, really tricky conditions. We were seeing drivers, only Tänak and Rally Rovanperä going for the full wets, and we can talk about that a little bit, later on. But we were seeing drivers kind of mixing it up, putting some softs on and cross patterns, and it was an incredibly difficult morning because the conditions were so unpredictable, and it's exactly what we said was going to happen. There was plenty of dry areas, but once they got in under the trees, it was wet and damp, and it was all about compromise.
I'm gonna send one into you right now. Correct decision to cancel because of the fog? They cancelled, just to put that into context, sorry. The second run of the long stage, the really wet stage 11 from this morning, was cancelled. That's given you a bit of thinking time.
Yeah, look, I didn't see the conditions, the actual conditions all the way through the stage.
Nobody did.
Stage
It was
15. It was, well, very good.
Thanks,
But
mate.
like stage
Well
11,
done
it was bad, wasn't it? And everyone was getting to the end of the first run through. Craig Breen said that's the worst conditions he's ever driven a rally car in. And look, I know you're old school. You're like, I want to go rallying in that, and that's cool, and I get it. And you're right, but I'd rather get to the end of today with all the cars as they are than having 4 or 5 of them parked on the side of the countryside.
Yeah, it's a rally. We get on with it.
Yep.
We don't stop for the fog and just go a bit slower if you're not sure. But that's my view. There is obviously safety implications. We absolutely respect Michelle Mouton. Who are we to argue? We're absolutely nobody to argue. She would have been involved in that call. She knows far better than we do. And obviously it was completely compromised by the fog. So forget everything I've just said. It was the right decision. Let's talk. We've talked fantastic battle. Rally Rovanperä goes into tomorrow with the thick end of 20 seconds. Is it going to be enough?
He has had an incredible afternoon. That final stage today was mind-blowing. In my mind, with the pressure he's under, that's the best stage he's ever driven in his WRC career, because he's, Tänak was nibbling away at him all afternoon, and he's come into this morning with well clear of a minute, and then suddenly he comes into the afternoon with less than 20 seconds, and he sat there going, "Where's my lead gone?" Got that punch, and it was, and in that final stage, he switched that Yaris on and sent it down the stage, and goes into tomorrow with 20 seconds. He still deserves to win the rally. Croatia bites, and we've seen lots of punctures. Maybe that could happen. You don't know. The job's not done yet, but he's certainly given himself a real fighting chance now.
I can't really add to that. It was given that also he had a vibration on the stage before. It was a great job. Yesterday was sensational from Calais. Today it's more of the same in that last stage. I think you're right. He deserves it, and I think he can control it. We've got 54k tomorrow, 4 stages. I think if the weather is at lunchtime, I talked about a bit of rain coming. I might want to backtrack on that as well. It might not rain. It might rain. It might not. If it doesn't
make your mind up, man. Is it going to rain or isn't it going to rain?
It's not going to rain tomorrow. We will have consistent conditions, and when it is consistent, it's a lot harder. It's a lot easier to keep that lead, isn't it? Because there's not as much cutting, the road's not as dirty.
Yeah, and you're just more in control. There's more predictability with what you're doing. So
tyre choices easier.
Ideally, with 54Ks tomorrow, you'll go out, you bolt a set of softs on, and it was interesting today. We heard the driver saying that the soft tyre was starting to degrade, it was starting to overheat, and that was becoming a bit of a problem. Certainly through the afternoon loop, Tänak was saying he was starting to lose the tyre a little bit, but I don't think that'll be so much of an issue tomorrow. And I think it's just a case of just getting it and drive the thing.
It was nice to have the 2 last ones of the loop a bit better time compared to Oit, and it helps us a bit. Of course, in a situation like this, you always want to try for the win, and in our case, we will try what we can. And of course, it's going to be tricky with today. Like we saw, it can be tricky. Oit is fast and he's quite close, so we also need to think about the championship. But of course, you always want to go for the win also.
Tänak is sitting there in second place. Hyundai desperately need points right now. You know, if you're Julien Moncet, the deputy team principal tonight, you are telling him, look, mate, I know you'd really like to have a go at him, but, you know, those 18 points and some power stage points would really work well for us.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Hyundai need championship points, and I mean, whether or not Tänak's the man to be told to back off and to stop pushing, particularly after all the work he's put into today, no question they need the points. Will he settle for second? I don't know. He is a team player.
Yeah, when it's more straightforward and predictable, I myself definitely started to lack more pace, and we are back to more normal tarmac driving. So let's see. Hopefully we can find something for tomorrow. But at the moment, with the speed Toyota and Kalle has, it's difficult to manage.
One thing I can guarantee to you is that Thierry Neuville, who's in a mega battle with Craig Breen, will go out all guns blazing tomorrow. And you know, there's only 4.9 seconds between himself and Craig, and Thierry will be desperate to steal third position from him.
That's the big fight, the fight for third. Like you say, 4.9 seconds. Breeny he lost time in the last couple this afternoon. I think he lost, it was probably a second, a mile he was losing, a second to K or whatever in the penultimate stage. In the last one it was only a second. He seems to have been able to reset a little bit for that last stage. It's going to be a hell of a fight for him tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I enjoyed today, as difficult as it was. In some respects, maybe even a little bit more difficult than yesterday. But no, it's going to be a big fight tomorrow. Yeah, like I said, Thierry is close, but there's stages that I like tomorrow, stages that I enjoy. So let's see.
It will be tough, definitely, but it should be possible. I mean, at least we're going to try.
What sort of conditions do you want tomorrow? I mean, mixed conditions?
I don't care. Yeah, really, as long as the same conditions for everybody, I don't care.
I just think today Thierry was able to get that Hyundai hooked up, was able to nibble away, and frankly, go on lad, that sounded fruity, didn't it?
Didn't it?
That's all right. I think today Thierry
told you we were in the right place.
Thierry Neuville was just able to get that Hyundai hooked up and working for him, and he was hungry because of all
he had
the penalties.
Motivation, didn't he?
Yeah,
I'm starting to interrupt you a bit too much now.
No,
sorry.
not at all.
But he did. That whole thing this morning with 1 minute and 50 seconds of penalties, he was fired up. He was really angry, and you know, tonight he said, I deserve a podium, and actually I think he does.
If he hadn't picked up all those penalties, it would be a comfortable Kalle Rovanperä first and Tänak and Thierry Neuville second and third, or vice versa. Fact is, we've got a great battle on our hands going into tomorrow for third place, and Thierry Neuville will come out 100% punching.
Totally, he will. And sitting in no man's land in fifth is Elvin Evans, it's such a difficult day, such a difficult position. I'm sure in some of your races you've been mid-pack. Have you ever been mid-pack, or are you always at the front?
No, always at the front.
Always at the front, obviously. But we've seen this so many times. Always at the front, obviously.
I wish.
Where you've got a big gap in front, a big gap behind, and what do? You know, he's just got to sit there and pick up points for Toyota.
Yeah, there's nothing else Elvin can do now other than go out tomorrow and you know, either hope that something happens in front of him to somebody else, or just go and pick up the points. Look, his rally was written when he picked up those punctures, and that's the way that it was. And he's shown good pace. He's taken a few stage wins, and you know, he'll be ruining that. Another man who will be is Esa-Pekka Lappi. Esa-Pekka's had a brilliant day today. Of course, road position has absolutely helped him, but he's taken a few stage wins. He's shown his pace, and he'll be disappointed with that mistake that he made on day one, because he would have been in the mix as well.
But equally, it's brought the confidence back. We won't see him at the next round in Portugal, but you know, it's given him seat time today, which is really valuable. Their teammate Takamoto Katsuta is sixth. Really interesting one. Do you know what Taka did in the really wet stage 11 today?
No.
He turned off the hybrid.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. And like, one of the things that we've been talking about with the teams is the drivability of the hybrid in the wet conditions, you know, because you suddenly get this extra boost of grunt, and you have to program in the drivability of when that comes in. The Puma seems to work really, really well in the slippery conditions. You know, we saw that in Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
You know, we saw the Hyundais and the Toyotas, particularly at hairpins, when you get back on the power, they were just swapping ends. You know, they were turning around and rotating and having a spin. The Pumas weren't really doing that. So it's interesting, and it maybe gives us an idea that is when the fact that Taka's turning that off in the wet and the slippy conditions, the muddy conditions, does that say that the drivability of the Yaris perhaps isn't quite completely dialed in yet?
Elliot, the cameraman, is wanting a top three prediction for tomorrow. Right, over to you, Chen.
Kalle Rovanperä, Tänak.
Agreed.
Assuming nothing happens, I'd go with that. Oh,
I'm going radical. I'm going to say Thierry Neuville second. Obviously, Calais first. Thierry second. Breen third.
It could happen. Yeah, it could happen. I
Sorry,
don't know.
Oit,
I don't know
that's
the
a bit
answer.
harsh.
I'll say Calais Rovanperä, Oit Tänak, and you know, to make it interesting and fair on the manufacturers, come on, Craig, stick it on the podium. Then we got one of each.
Absolutely, that works for me. We will see you tomorrow for a final day review. In between times, keep an eye on dirtfish.com and let's go and take our chances across the dual carriageway, shall we?
Sounds like a plan. To sort out the old life insurance. Come on.